How are we doing, YouTube? It's your friendly gamer, SmartEntity here. So Warframe server is down. I've tried to log in. I can't play Warframe. So I thought I'll use this opportunity to make a beginner's guide to Warframe to help some of the fresh beginning players. So for you guys, basically, if you're thinking of going into Warframe, the first choice you have to make is which Warframe you want to start playing with. You have 3 to choose from, and these are Excalibur, Mag, and Loki. Now, out of these 3, if you read some of the comments, forums, and whatnot, most people would recommend Excalibur just because it's well-rounded, and its powers are quite fun to use. I do not recommend this because Mag, who is the only female frame they can choose to begin with, is by far the most powerful, I would say. I basically tested this out. I started new games. Initially I chose Excalibur, but recently I started new games, one with Mag, one with Loki, and I just try to clear out Mercury basically, and Mag can do that the fastest and the easiest. And the reason that Mag is so much better is because of her first ability, this one, Pull. Now, this ability costs 25 energy, which is extremely low, but it does 300 damage at max level. And the benefit of this power is it does 300 damage to everything in front of you. So for some of the other powers, it may only be able to target 1 or 2, or up to 5 enemies, whereas this one, it targets every single enemy. So if there's 10 enemies in front of you, it'll cause 300 damage to all those 10 enemies. And the other thing is basically, the thing with this power is you can really spam it because of the low energy cost, so that makes it really good. And for those of you who don't really know how much 300 damage is, basically what that means is you can one-shot all basic enemies for at least about half of the solar map, so up to including Saturn and Mercury. Saturn and Mars. Mercury definitely, but Saturn and Mars you should definitely be able to one-shot all the basic enemies. So those are your Lancers, your Crewmen, your Scorpions, your Butchers, your Chargers, those kind of things. You won't be able to one-shot Corpus Techs or Guernier Heavy Gunners, because they have a lot of HP, armor, and whatnot, and you won't be able to do this much damage to them. Her second power is Shield Polarize. So it costs 50 energy. Basically, it restores your shield and depletes energy shield. Now, depleting energy shield, especially in the early stage of the game, is only relevant to Corpus, because only they have shields. So it may not seem to be that useful, but actually this is an extremely good power to have for beginners. The reason is you don't have mods that will amplify your health, amplify your shield. So the way that this regenerates or just replenishes your shield makes you live longer, right? So you're in there longer for the fight. You can keep on fighting. I know you saved me a couple times, so it's definitely useful, especially if you're fighting against bosses, right? It keeps you alive. The third power is Bullet Tractor. If you're a beginner, I wouldn't use this power, just because it's quite costly energy-wise, and just the way it works, there's not that many applications in the early game. If you're doing your T3 survival in game, you can put this on a heavy gunner. It'll probably help you out, but in the early stages, it's just waste of energy. Crush is the ultimate. It's definitely a good power for beginners, but it does cost 100 energy, and it does a lot of damage. But from my experience, using Pull is just better, because if you use Pull 4 times, it's 100 energy, and if you remember back, it was 300. So 300 times 4, 1,200. Actually, that's more damage. But you do need to keep in mind that this is every enemy in your radius, whereas Pull is just every enemy sort of in your front vision. So yeah, that's basically about mag. I'm not going to talk about Excalibur or Loki because, you know, if you follow my guide, you choose mag and then you won't be able to touch those frames for a few days, at least I would say. Now, as far as weapons go, in the beginning you get the MK1 Brayton, the Lato, and the Skana. With mainly 2.0 coming out, I would imagine the Skana is going to have a bit more application. But if you are a new player, you probably want to mess around with the MK1 Brayton, which is your primary main weapon. Now, this weapon is arguably, well, actually, it is the worst primary weapon in the game. Having said that, I wouldn't sell it. The reason is, Warframe has a system called Mastery Rank. Every weapon you rank up will give you points toward the next Mastery Rank. There are benefits to higher Mastery Rank. Basically, for me, you know, I look at the more Mastery Rank I have, the more trade I can do in a day. For some of the newer players, the higher the Mastery Rank, the more stronger weapons you can use. So I wouldn't sell this. Basically, you know, you use this until you have enough credits to buy the Brayton, which is a direct upgrade. So the MK1 does 16 physical damage, and the Brayton does 18 physical damage. Now, 2 damage may not seem like a lot, but as you collect mods in this game and put them onto the weapon, that 2 damage will be basically, you know, part of a percentage, and then as more and more mods come, then that percentage will increase and that damage will increase proportionally. So it does matter quite a bit as you play. So this will definitely be your first, I would say, primary upgrade, and you really should be having this before you exit Mercury, I would say. Now the second weapon is the Lato pistol. Nothing too, you know, spectacular about it. It does quite low damage. Basically, the way I see it is you use your MK1 Brayton or your Brayton. Once they're out of bullets, you come to the Lato and use its bullet bank, basically. Now, in Mercury, you will fight a boss called Captain War. This guy actually drops a lot of useful stuff for beginners. One of the weapons he drops is Theer parts. Now this one is a secondary weapon, sidearm. So to get this one, you need to kill Vor at least 3 times, because you need to get the blueprint, the barrel, and the receiver, and you need 2 organ cells. So the way to do this is keep on killing Vor. Once you have 3 parts, go to recruiting chat. Now there is a mission called ODA, which stands for Orokin Derelict Assassination. Now, if you're a beginner, you won't be able to do much in that mission, right? But what you want to do is join the game and let the other guys carry you. You know, some people probably won't want to carry you, but there are some nice guys out there. I know if I host one and you ask to join, you know, I'm more than happy to carry you, because for me the boss is really easy. I can kill it by myself. But as for you guys beginners, do this mission, because this boss has the potential to drop 4 Orokin cells, right? He usually drops 1 or 2, but he can potentially drop up to 4, and that's excluding the possible loot you get from your minor enemies and your sort of crate containers. So you can get 2 Orokin cells from one run quite easily, and also if you run a mission, you pretty won't get, you know, exactly 15,000 credits, but you get pretty close to that. So that'll allow you to create the Theer, which takes 12 hours, so you can get it the next day. Now this weapon is not top tier, it's not in-game weapon, but it's probably the best weapon you can get if you're a beginner for quite a long time. I would say you can use this weapon to clear the solar map within reason, yeah. So definitely try to get this weapon if you can. If you don't want to farm War too much and just want to keep on playing, that's fine as well. And as for the Skana, basically another weapon that War drops is a Chronos. So with a Chronos, all you need is a blueprint. and then you can just craft it in the market. It also takes 12 hours, so next day you can get this weapon. And this one is a direct upgrade from the Skana, so definitely get this one. So yeah, that's pretty much as much as I want to say about weapons and Warframe. Now, with regard to mods, if you're a beginner, you should be able to easily get Redirection and Vitality. Those are rank 10 mods. If you're a beginner, I would recommend leveling them to rank 3 to rank 6. So that's level 7 to level 10 for Redirection, and level 5 to level 8 for Vitality. Now, those I would say are your essential mods for beginners, for mid-level players, for end-game play, just because they keep you alive. There's some special builds end-game that you may leave one of those out just because of the mod slot limitation, but if you're a beginner, those two mods are absolutely essential. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to get those, and how important it is to level those up, at least to rank 3. Another one you probably get in the early game with some luck is Serration. Now that's a really useful mod. Put it on your primary weapon. It increases damage, and it will make your life easier. You know, spend some time playing with the arsenal, try out different mods that'll really help. One more thing I want to mention is basically if you're a beginner player, you notice you get 50 platinum. Now, don't waste those platinum, guys. You will not be able to get more platinum until you spend real money. Platinum is extremely important in this game for slots. So definitely don't, mess around with that. Definitely don't waste it. Yeah, so guys, if you're a new player, I hope my advice helps. Leave in a comment how you found the game, what else you would want to know. I'll try to help you guys out. Yeah, so guys, please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.